Well, hello everyone, it's me, it's Hawk. Today I'm going to be doing a chatty, rambly, stumbly get ready with me. I already have my eyes primed with my Juvia's Place Eye Prep Eye Prime Eye Primer. And while I'm doing makeup to go nowhere in particular, just to laze around the house while I'm on my period, you know, I thought I would talk about love spells and love magic. For those who don't know, I am a practitioner of the craft. I do dabble in some magic. I do practice witchcraft, if you will. I'm a pagan, and I do want to talk about my spiritual and magical practice and what I've done and my thoughts on certain things. Just know that my opinions don't necessarily dictate what's right and wrong or what is appropriate for you in your situation. It is simply me from my point of view. And also, if you hear things in the background, I do live in an apartment complex that's near a train yard, so you're probably going to hear background noise. I'm sorry, there's not much I can do about that. And also, if I stumble and ramble, I'm not editing this video, so this is gonna get pretty awkward. And I can't see very well without my glasses, so I might have to look at my notes really close or this mirror really close so I can see what I'm doing. But, this video is going to be about love spells. I'm dipping into my Huda Beauty palette, the Naughty Nude palette, for these darker shades. The two darkest shades in the palette that's like matte is what I'm dipping into here. And I'm just kind of doing this kind of shape a little like on the outer corners, like above and below. That's what I do. I just kind of stamp and feather, stamp and feather, and just kind of feather and stamp. It's kind of going in two different directions, but I can always fix that. But I want to combine two videos regarding makeup and because I love makeup, it's art for my face, and witchcraft. So what do I feel about love magic? Well, I do think there is a time and place for it. I do think it can be done, and I do think it can work. Now, do I personally agree with superseding someone else's free will and making them fall in love with you or in a situation where they otherwise wouldn't have? I have mixed feelings about that, but obviously I don't know you and your situation, so who am I to judge? But I do think there is some caution to be done, personally, because you could end up with them being obsessed with you, say, and they end up stalking you or harassing you, or they can't get their mind off you, so they kind of lose it a little. And I've heard of stories like that, at least. And with that being said, I do not know the validity to those stories, so obviously take them with a grain of salt, but there is something to be said for, you know, it could ruin a perfectly good relationship that person was in and cause a lot of harm, and maybe it won't play out in the way that you intended, but at the same time, I do think love magic can be done, and you can attract a partner if you're doing it to attract a partner and it's not like self-love. I do think it can be done, and it can work, and it can be fairly ethical. I myself have dabbled in some love magic, in fact, as how I've attracted the partner I'm currently with and have been with for well over a year. Now, if you're wondering what palettes I'm dipping into the Berries palette from from Juvia's Place, as well as my Huda Beauty Naughty Nude, and I'm just dipping in between shades. I kind of just like to do it like a painting on my eyes, but I have done love magic to attract my current partner. For reference, just for the reference of this video, not to out them per se, but they do use he, they pronouns. I'm only mentioning this for when I inevitably refer to them as he or he as they. Same person, just they use he, they pronouns. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Yeah, my boyfriend, I did attract him, and what I did is on, I believe it was either a waxing or a full moon. I just like the building up and the heightened energy. What I did was I did a spell that would attract my most ideal partner, a healthy relationship that would be for my best and highest good, that somebody that I could really, see myself being with for a long time, and that it would be healthy for both of us, and that we would both grow and, just really have a good, healthy time and be well calibrated and suited to each other. I didn't want to, like, force anyone to really fall in love with me that wouldn't have otherwise been in love with me, or I didn't want, like, say, like, unless it was for my best in high school, like, an ex to fall in love with me. But, you know, when I did the spell, a couple of days later, I was on OkCupid, as one is, because I met my partner on OkCupid, and, they messaged me on Snapchat because I couldn't see the likes on OkCupid, and at first we were friends for a couple months, as one is, and I didn't think much of it. In fact, I was talking to someone else, and it didn't work out, so I was like, oh no, did my spell not work? Do I need to redo it? And, it was not long after, it was like a couple months after that, after I'd gotten over the person I was talking to, that, you know, my partner and I asked each other out. Now, did I have feelings for my partner the whole time? Yes. I should preface this by saying it's not like I didn't have feelings for my partner or I was just doing it out of some, like, weird obligation. No, I did have feelings for my partner. I just assumed that my partner was in a relationship because they are a really great person, and I'm like, there's no way someone like that couldn't currently be in a relationship, so I just hadn't had the guts to ask. And for those of you who might say it's a little questionable for me to have kind of been talking to someone else while having feelings for my partner, thing is, it was kind of like I wasn't sure if my partner was in a relationship or not, or talking to someone else. And the person I was talking to, we weren't like definite boyfriend and girlfriend, we were just talking. So, you know, I did have feelings for my partner, my current partner, the entire time. And eventually, you know, I kind of let it slip, and he let it slip, and it was a couple days before Christmas that he asked me out, and we've been together for well over a year, and it's been happy, it's been good, it's been healthy, which is always great. That's what we want, a healthy relationship, a happy relationship. And now I'm dipping into this green-pink duochrome from my Odin's Eye, I think it's the Norns palette, or is it this, whatever, this is the, yeah, Norns palette from Odin's Eye. I'm dipping into the green-pink duochrome, like, light, like, shifty shade, just to inner corner highlight my eyes. But, really, I realize now, like, in retrospect, and also, not now, but, like, I've been realizing that, oh my gosh, like, everything that I've wanted in a partner and everything that I've been craving in a relationship, I have gotten through my relationship with my partner. And, you know, it's been really nice. And I've been very happy in my relationship. It's been very stable. There hasn't been, like, say what you will about this, but I don't think there's been too major of conflicts. Like, obviously, yes, we've had disagreements, but we're never, like, insulting each other or, like, being awful to each other. Like, we civilly handle any disagreements or, like, issues that we might have. Even if we do get emotional in the moment, we always cool down and, like, talk about it and reflect. We never call each other names, or we never, like, you know, give each other the cold shoulder or any toxic behaviors like that. We simply just talk it out, see where each other are coming from. We communicate very well about things, and it's been really great. And so, although you're probably wondering, like, what does this have to do with love magic? The point of this whole story was that I did do a spell. It was a jar spell, like a bottle spell, to attract my partner, and, you know, it worked, and I've been in a very happy relationship. And I think that it is possible to do love magic ethically, as evidenced by, as far as I'm concerned, my current relationship. I think it is a healthy relationship. Now, some people might disagree and say, well, would they have otherwise found you or fallen in love with you had you not cast a spell? Well, that's up for debate. But I personally think that what I did was perfectly fine. And I'm really happy that I did do the spell. Now, you may be wondering, well, what do I do if I want to do a spell like that? Or I just want to do a self-love spell. What do I do about that? Well, there are ways to do that. And I'm just using my Blitzky, just generic Amazon water-activated liner here. It's not very great, but not the liner isn't very great, but my application isn't, because my hand's not stable. But, you know, what do you do to do a love spell? So there are a number of ways that you can do it, and I think it's important that you do some shadow work, or at least focus in on the why behind your intent. Like, why are you casting a love spell? What do you want to get out of this love spell? What is your intention? What is the desired outcome from this love spell? Before you do it, just really dissect why you're doing it, and then, if you're at a place where you're comfortable casting the spell, go ahead, and when you have what you feel intuitively, this is all going to be based on your intuition, what you feel is best for the situation. You feel intuitively that you are ready, you can cast it. Now, I advise that it's ideal when you cast it on a waxing or like building up or a full moon. Personally, is how I see it, because it's like the culmination of the energies, or it's waxing, or it's building up. And I also recommend that you potentially do it on, let's see what my paper says. I wrote it down. I think it's ideal that you do it on the days of, let's see, I know there's Friday, which is Venus Day, it's love. It's very much tied to love. There's also Monday. If you miss the full moon, you can always substitute the full moon's day for Monday, which is Moon's Day, as far as the calendar and astrologically speaking. Monday is Moon's Day. So you can always do like full moon rituals if you missed the actual full moon on Monday. If you feel like it and you feel comfortable and like that works and resonates with you, you can do that. And you can always do it on Sunday as well, because Sunday is associated with success and positivity and just really gaining what it is that you seek. So yeah, like Sunday, like I said, it's good for spells of happiness, success, and good for manifesting. So if you want a happy, successful, like healthy relationship, Sunday is a pretty good day. And if you just want something that relates to love in general, be it self-love, romantic love, sexual love, you can always do it on Friday. That's what I advise, but obviously if you intuitively feel a different day is better for you, then I suggest doing it on that day, because that's what your intuition is pulling you towards. And if your intuition's pulling you towards that, it will be better for you, most likely, in that situation. Never doubt your intuition. Obviously, there's a difference between intrusive thoughts and intuition, but once you learn to know the difference, which is easier said than done, it becomes easier. But basically do what you feel intuitively or your gut says is best in these situations is basically what I'm trying to get at. And you may also be wondering what ingredients are good. Now, obviously, do what your intuition says. It can be based on like your cultural upbringing or what your intuition says, but I personally say go with your gut. But if I go to my paper, it says that some good ingredients for sympathetic magic in regards to love spells. Sympathetic magic being like, this thing relates to this in this way, or this is like that. So it'll help boost the energy and intention of my working and help get my spell to manifest in the way that I desire. So first off, get some intentions. Get your intentions in order and write down your intentions as if they have already happened. Do not put I won't or I can't or I shouldn't in there, or like things that might, like, in a way, think about it like a contraindicate or contradict, or like kind of muddle your intentions. Make your intentions very clear, make them positive, and say as if it has already happened. Incorporate some of that like scripting manifestation type thing into your intention paper is very useful. Now, if you want to use a candle and you can burn things, good candle colors are pink, red, white. Think Valentine's Day colors, whatever you associate with red, or not red, love. And also, like, you can use other candles in addition to the main candle. So you could use like orange for road opening, yellow for positivity and success. I'm using my L'Oreal Lash Paradise Mystic Black mascara. I don't tend to wear false lashes, so I'm just gonna messily apply this mascara and then fix it where it got on my lid. But basically I think those are pretty good colors for it, or whatever you think works for you. If you want something that is really like gonna have a magical pull towards you, purple can be good. I mean, think about Valentine's Day colors again. If you want something that is a bit more grounded and stable, brown candles can be very useful for that. Just think about whatever colors suit your intention, like kind of side candle colors if you want to use more than one candle. If you want to use candles, just use those for your working, and it will help boost your intentions if that's the paradigm you ascribe to. So, what else helps with love magic? Now, there's a lot that helps with love magic. So, herbs, I do have it written down here somewhere. I do have the little papers down here that tells me what herbs and the intentions that come with it. So, rose is a pretty good one. So, think when someone is giving their partner a bouquet, they'll typically go with a bouquet of roses. Look into the language of the flowers, what different flowers mean, what different arrangements mean, and also what they culturally mean to you, because obviously what may be applicable for me in my American, Midwestern, Eurocentric upbringing, like European white upbringing, might differ from a different person's upbringing, and that's perfectly okay. Just use what you find is applicable to you and is available for you. Don't feel like you have to go out and buy a bunch of herbs or use things that aren't really like resonating with you because somebody else says so. Now, I made a huge mess on my face. Oh my gosh. This happens every time I do makeup. I should probably learn how to clean up better, but you know, just find what resonates with you and your intentions, and don't feel like you have to go based on what someone else says. If you feel like, oh, this doesn't, like, I've been taught in my culture to use this, this, and this, and I feel like that's more applicable, then use what you feel is more applicable. Don't feel like you have to use, what I say is basically I'm getting at what I'm trying to get at, what I keep saying. And the other herbs that are good are rosemary. So rosemary is a good protection herb. I like to incorporate protection into my workings of love, especially because I do not think that most people want an unhealthy relationship or an unstable relationship, and rosemary is very good for longevity and magical boosts as well as protection. So if you can protect yourself from, say, any unhealthy relationships or abusive relationships, you can really help prevent some of that with rosemary, as well as drawing in love at the same time. And rosemary is very good for that. And rose is good for love, sexuality, sensuality, romance, and self-esteem. So you can also incorporate some self-love into your romance rituals so that you are attracting someone you know you can trust, and that you won't feel like you have to like doubt or like feel like, oh, are they cheating or something like that. Like, you want to attract someone that you can truly trust and that you don't feel like you have to go through their phone or something like that in order to like trust them. Like, attract someone you know you can trust. Like, personally speaking, I knew going into my relationship with my partner, like, I trust them. I don't think they're going to cheat. I don't think they're ever gonna really have an affair. They don't strike me as the type. Well, everyone says that about their partner until they do, but no, I really trust that they won't cheat, and if I had any doubts that they would cheat, I wouldn't be in a relationship with them, because a good, healthy relationship, in my opinion, is built on trust and communication and love and understanding, and I think that's really important in any relationship, be it romantic or otherwise. And having herbs that correspond to such things, like rosemary, like rose, is really great. Another great herb is jasmine. So what is jasmine good for? Oh, what is jasmine good for? So jasmine is good for confidence, healthiness, love, and femininity, like divine feminine speaking. When I say femininity, it doesn't have to be like gender femininity, but divine femininely speaking, femininity, like the nurturing, creative energies, collaborative energies, things of that nature, is what jasmine is really, really good for. And I think that, you know, if you incorporate that into a love working, be it to attract someone in particular, or to attract your ideal partner, or just from some self-love or a friendship or whatever the case may be, like, doing something like that will really help the chances of the spell working in the way that you intended and the way that it you hoped for. Like, so like you're less likely to get stuck in a crappy situation. I think that jasmine's really good for that. And then there's hibiscus, which is commonly used for love and lust. So if you want there to be some attraction physically as well in your relationship, say if it's romantic, you're like, I want to make sure I'm also attracted to my partner in all ways, not just one way, then so be it. As long as it's consensual and you both are okay with it, then that's cool. Just make sure it's consensual. But I think hibiscus is good for that, just that passionate love. And then cinnamon is good for passion again, but also the speed and the potency and the success of the working, as well as love in general. And then another herb is damiana, which I have not used, but it's good for love, lust, passion, and romance. So if you want something that's really passionate, damiana can be very good for it. Now, what am I going in for my face? Because as you can see, I am a little bit of a pizza face. I do have a problem with picking because my neurodiverse, anxiety-ridden self really likes to compulsively pick for some reason. I'm not sure why. I don't try to diagnose it, but I should probably see a doctor for that one. But, you know, it's just a thing. It's just a reality for me. So I'm going in with my Thank You Farmer Color Correcting SPF primer. So it's like a color corrector, but adds green into my face because I do have olive undertones. I don't know how apparent it is on camera, but I do have cool olive undertones. Like cool to neutral olives, so olive tones do look best on me, but I can also pull off pinks because of the cooler undertone, if that makes sense. But, basically, what was I going on about? Man, my ADHD brain forgets. What was I talking about? So I talked about the herbs, right? But what about other things that can really help with the, working? So what else can help with a love spell? So we got into the days of the week, got into candle colors, got into herbs. What else? So crystals. So crystals you can put inside a bottle maybe, or you can put around the working to really charge it. But I advise when it comes to crystals, rose quartz is obviously pretty good, but so is strawberry quartz. Strawberry quartz is a very good, like a cherry tangerine or whatever they want to call it. I call it strawberry quartz. I don't know if that's technically the term for it, but that's what I've known it as. And that crystal is really good for just like joy and happiness. I find when I'm like really down or there's a lull, if I really meditate with my strawberry or cherry tangerine quartz or tansberry quartz or whatever it's called, I find that I feel a lot more secure and happy and confident in my relationship. Not that I don't feel confident in my relationship, it's just that, like, you know, I do have moments of insecurity, like personal insecurity, not because of my partner, it's just a personal thing, and this really helps me process that insecurity in a healthy manner. And I think that it is important that one does process things in a way that is healthy for both you and your partner, because obviously a relationship, we want there to be harmony, we want there to be trust, we want there to be love, passion, understanding, kindness, caring, like all these things. Like at least I want that in a relationship. I can't say about you, but much about you, but that's at least what I want in a relationship. And what else? So yeah, like strawberry quartz is really good for that, and that like real confidence in your relationship and like not feeling insecure is what it's really good for. And if you're wondering what I'm putting on my face right now, it's my NARS Pot Concealer in Chantilly. I find that the neutralness of their undertones is surprisingly olive for Chantilly. Like, I've noticed a green tint, like, when I compare it to other things. It's less peach than it is, like, a really neutral olive-y tone. It's like a neutrally, slightly leaning olive enough that it really suits my complexion. But, yeah, there's a huge hole in it, a little pan in there, but their Chantilly shade is really suited to me because most things I have to add green color corrector to in order to get it to match me properly. That's a whole nother discussion. But I find that rose quartz, like strawberry quartz, in general, things that correspond to your heart chakra will be very useful in love magic because it's all about that heart center, all about that love. But if you really want to also incorporate some of your sacral, some of that creative, sensual energy, that can also be very useful in a relationship, provided you want that energy in a relationship. Obviously, I understand not everyone is about that type of energy. After all, there are asexual people, and not everyone wants a sexual component to their relationships. Not everyone desires that in a relationship, or is okay with that in a relationship, and that's perfectly fine. And you know, whatever it is that you feel like, I just find that like things that correspond to your heart and sacral, just that creative, collaborative, really just that type of passionate energy. I find that emotionally passionate energy of the sacral chakra and the loving energies of the heart chakra are very good energies. Even if you don't ascribe to the whole chakra thing, you can use the idea of those things and work with those energy centers to really help boost your workings, and use crystals that correspond to those energy centers. I find that those ones are very useful. Also, a little bit of blue, throw that in there for good communication and honest and open communication. Especially like things like Amazonite, I find are good for these types of workings, because it's really like, it's throat and heart, so it's communication from the heart, and you want that in a relationship, or at least I want that in my relationship, and I do have that in my relationship. But what I'm saying is, find crystals that correspond to multiple things that you were looking for in a relationship. And that same goes with herbs, same goes with anything really that you're using sympathetically. Find things that you feel you want in a relationship, like when you're scripting. Find herbs that correspond. And I'm using my Bora Bora blush from e.l.f. On my little e.l.f. brush here. It's cream e.l.f. blush, but yeah. For cream products, I'm just really, it's a stippling brush, but I'm just really applying it like this. I like to apply my blush very heavily, so don't mind me. I might look like a really pink clown, but that is exactly what I'm going for. I love the clown look, so don't mind me. But I think that, you know, finding things that really correspond to what you wrote down in your intention paper and what you did shadow work on, to like discover your intentions and the truth behind your intentions and the reasoning behind your intentions. Really diving deep and just assessing what it is that you are truly after, and finding things that truly correspond to what you want and not what others say is what is really important here. And as for like self-love, and I'm using my e.l.f. Glow Contour Wand. It's not really contour so much as is bronzing, but I find it's really good for just bronzing and contouring at the same time. This shade is very warm on me because, again, I am cool toned. But I find it really helps shape the face, and I'm going to go back in with concealer to really clean it up. But my point is finding things that really correspond to what you put down in your intention and paper, your petition, and also what it on your like intention when you did your shadow work is really important, because you want to go after what you are after, not what someone else says for just generic run-of-the-mill things, because what you want isn't generic and run-of-the-mill. It's tailored to you and your needs and your wants and your desires, and really finding things that suit that and that you feel intuitively drawn to is important. So if something that I said does not resonate, that's perfectly okay. Just do what it is that resonates with you, and you'll have more success. Because you can do things from the spell book all day long, but if your intent and your passion and your drive doesn't really correspond to it, or isn't really behind it, and you're just doing it, like, sure, it might manifest, but it may not manifest the results that you were truly after. You're doing someone else's version of your intent rather than your own intent. And, you know, you don't have to use candles, you don't have to do any of that, and if you're in the broom closet, I totally understand. I was for a very long time, and I still am to some people, but, you know, really going in and assessing what you want and doing what it is that's tailored to you and your needs is very important, I think, personally. So, oh, there's the train. I'm gonna go in with my highlighter from my Natasha Denona My Dream palette, the cream highlighter. I really like that highlighter a lot. So I'm just gonna go in with my finger. To use my finger a lot for blending things in. Oh boy, sirens and trains. Hopefully you don't mind that, but I'm just going in with the cream highlighter to add some glow to my face. No, I'm going in the stripe. Ye old stripe, the forbidden stripe. I like to do a little this, make a little explanation point. Little landing strip, I like that for my face. But, you know, I think it's important that you do what's best for you and not necessarily listen to what other people say if it doesn't align. If you don't feel it resonate, don't feel like you have to listen if it doesn't resonate with you. Obviously, be wary of things like cultural appropriation. Like, personally, I don't use things like white sage or things that might, in my workings that might, no, it's just a personal thing, but I don't personally feel comfortable with things like that. But if you are of indigenous descent, or you happen to have some and you don't want it to go to waste and you think it's okay, then I don't know what to say. That's a whole nother topic for another time. So if there's anything else that goes into the, just the, what's the word for it? Sympathetic magic. I think incense can be useful if you don't have pets or small children, or like essential oils if you're into that type of thing, or you have some lying around. So good ones for that are rose, like we discussed earlier, love, sensuality, beauty, jasmine for confidence and love, and just that type of energy. Vanilla is good for love, energy, sensuality, and relationships. And ylang ylang is also very good for being an aphrodisiac, attracting bliss and love. So those would be what I recommend. So very floral, very loving scents. Things that you associate with love or sensuality or whatever it is that you're after for you. Just do what it is that you feel resonates. Now, my look is primarily creams right now, but I'm seeing if I want to go in with powder just to cover up a little bit of the acne, because I do have some oozing spots. I'm going to go in with my brush and my e.l.f. Powder in 120N and just kind of lightly dust some of my acne areas and just cover them a little bit. Add a little bit more coverage to cover them up. Beyond that, I don't think I'm going to do much. But it was nice talking to you guys, even if it was very awkward on my end. And I was rambling and just repeating myself. That's typically what I do in these videos anyways. So if you enjoyed this video, I hope you like, subscribe. If you want to see more of this type of content, if you have other types of spell work you want to hear about, and you want to know about that I have no, obviously you don't know what I have experience with, but if you want to know what it is that I have opinions on, or my advice on how to do these spells, just let me know in the comment section below. If you want to know more about witchcraft or paganism, I think that's pretty cool. Another note that I want to add to this video before I end it, if you are pagan, or you worship any gods or deities, and they, even if they don't correspond to love per se, you can always ask them for their assistance, and if they would like to help you in your working. And I think that can really help if you really feel like you need that extra helping hand. Asking your divine counsel, if you will, your spirit guides, your spiritual team, whoever you believe in, whatever you believe in, asking your ancestors maybe, if they would have approved and you feel it resonates with what you are after. Just ask your spiritual team for help and guidance if you're really not sure. And if you're really not sure, then you don't have to do a love spell. Like, if you feel really unsure and uncertain and scared, and like your intuition is telling you that it may not be the best idea, then don't feel like you have to do it, because ultimately it's down to what you are comfortable with. And I'm going to apply a lipstick now just to finish it all off. This is Dior's Tarot. I really like the shade. It's a really pretty shade, as you can see here. But I think that you can do love magic, and it can be ethical. You just have to be aware of what your intentions are, what you're truly seeking out of this, the practicality of it, and in addition to your working, take some practical steps to make it happen. And just combine the mundane and the magical, is what I'm saying. And go with your gut, go with what your intuition is saying is best, And if it's saying it's not best for the situation, then you don't have to do it. But if you feel like you should do it, then do it. Like, I'm not the one who's gonna tell you whether or not to do it, because I'm not you and I'm not in your situation. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed my video. This is Hawk signing out, and you have a wonderful, magical day. Bye!